What is up, family? How are all my fellow lunatics doing out there? Hope y'all are doing well today. Hey, so trip out on this. So, an NSA worker just received 22 years in prison for selling national secrets to an undercover FBI agent. What? Yo, that's coming up today on Rational Lunatic Media, bringing it to you all as always, Rational Lunatic himself. With that being said, punch that like button, kick that subscribe button, flick that bing notification bell so you can stay up to date on all of my latest content. And if you're on TikTok and you want to help me out, jump over to YouTube, subscribe there where you can catch all the same content but the full amount, because some of these videos on TikTok go a little too long. Also, if you really want to know about the worst of the worst, as I always say, the most heinous cops, the most heinous judges, the most heinous officials doing the most heinous acts to we the people, click on my Patreon, linked in my YouTube. $5 a month, members only, get my not safe for life news. I can't recommend it, but I can tell you it needs to be discussed. It is that disgusting. So, you want to know? Go check it out. With that being said, though, hey, nice to see y'all again. Let's get into this little juicy nugget, shall we? This report was done by AP News, U.S. News. A former NSA worker gets nearly 22 years in prison for selling secrets to an undercover FBI agent. And this was updated April 29, 2024, so just a couple months ago. Denver. A former national security agent employee who sold classified information to an freaking advertisements, to an undercover FBI agent he believed to be a Russian official, was sentenced to nearly 22 years in prison, the penalty requested by government prosecutors. U.S. District Judge Raymond Moore said he could have put Jare Sebastian, Jare Hart, probably Hare Sebastian Dalk, age 32, behind bars for even longer, calling the 262-month sentence, quote, mercy, for what he saw as a calculated action to take the job at the NSA in order to be able to sell national security secrets. So it sounds like this guy is a Russian national, or maybe, comes from a Russian background, has family that are Russian, and may have been either planted here to get that kind of job. Either born here or sent here as a child. Because other countries will do that, you know what I mean? Especially Russia. Don't take them lightly. They will. They'll place a Russian mother here, to have a child born, to groom that child all their life, get them to go to college or whatever, to get some kind of national security job or a job up in government, so they can get them secrets. But he was selling them, so I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Of course, they're gonna pay him for it. Anyway, just my opinion. Let me know what you think about that in the comments, though. Let's continue. Yeah, for what he saw as a calculated action to take the job at the NSA in order to be able to sell national security secrets. Quote, this was blatant, it was brazen, and in my mind, it was deliberate. It was a betrayal, and it was as close to treasonous as you can get, Moore said. Dalk's attorney had asked for the Army veteran to plead guilty to espionage charges last fall in a deal with prosecutors to be sentenced to 14 years in prison, in part because the information he sold in 2022 did not end up in enemy hands and cause damage. Oh, you know what? He should get a lighter sentence. I mean, it's not like he actually gave any secrets up to anybody significant. I mean, it went to the FBI. It didn't really go to the Russians, but it could have. But he thought it was. Are you kidding me? Like, oh, like, man, that's like saying, you know what? I know the murderer went there to kill this person, but since he shot, the dog laying in under the covers, thinking it was the person and left, don't give him attempted murder charges. Give him a less sentence. It ain't like he actually, killed anybody, or I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like that's ridiculous, man. Come on. What I said was ridiculous. I know. Before y'all hate me on it, I know it was redundant, but whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Assistant Federal Public Defender David Kraut also argued for a lighter sentence because he said Dowk had suffered a traumatic brain injury, had attempted suicide 4 times, and had experienced trauma as a child, including witnessing domestic violence and substance abuse. Research has shown that kind of childhood trauma increases the risk of people later engaging in dangerous behavior, he said. That does make some sense. And if he got like he's an army veteran, if he actually fought for this country, I would say, and then got the brain injury, while fighting for this country, with all his past hidden trauma, then I could see, him making a very bad mistake. But I mean, but that's depending on what kind of secrets he was trying to sell to Russia. Um, I would consider like how damaging those could have been to the U.S. before I sentenced. I wouldn't just be like, oh, you're trying to sell secrets. If there's secrets that wouldn't really help the Russians out, you know what I mean? Then I'd be like, whatever. Or they wouldn't really help the Russians, as far as hurting us too much, like whatever. Then I don't know. I would definitely have to consider, you know, what kind of secrets he was trying to sell. You know what I mean? Later, Dowk, who said he was remorseful and ashamed, told Moore he had also suffered PTSD, bipolar disorder, and obsessive compulsive disorder. He denied being motivated by ideology or earning money by agreeing to sell the secrets. Dowk also suggested he had an idea that he was actually communicating with law enforcement, but was attracted to the thrill of what he was doing. So it wasn't really about the money, sir. It was about the thrill of the danger, living on the edge. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of was thinking too. This might be the FBI. I mean, I could see how I might be selling this to the actual FBI and not the Russians. But man, my heart's pumping, my adrenaline's running. You know what? It's worth the risk. You know what? For this kind of high, it's worth that risk. This is a complete roller coaster. Oh man, but bro, yeah, it's a roller coaster until you get busted, and then it's like a roller coaster when you go up. That it's like one braking and you going straight down to the ground. That plummet. Oh, cool. The way your heart must drop. You know what I mean? Could not be worth it. I bet at that point, that's when he's like, no, no, it wasn't worth this. Oh man. However high a high feels, and that's with any kind of high. Drugs, a roller coaster high, any kind of adrenaline rush can be amazing, right? Even drugs can be amazing. But if something can be that amazing, it can be that much more damaging if it goes wrong. If you take too much of something, or you overdose, or you're on a roller coaster and it goes off the tracks, or your parachute doesn't open, or you sell secrets to the FBI. You know what I mean? That those feelings and those lows can be so much worse. You know, life ending worse than the high themselves, or even just to come down. You know what I mean? Like even if you're an addict and you're catching those highest highs of whatever you're doing, if it's that good, then it's definitely gonna be twice that bad, at least double that bad, if not quadruple. You know what I mean? Sextuple that bad. You know what I'm saying? Jesus. Anyway, Moore said he was skeptical of Doubt's claims about the conditions since the defense did not provide any expert opinions or hospital records. So it's just the defense's word, which is no good in court. If you ain't got a doctor, a hospital, someone to back up your claims of mental illness or whatever, and they're gonna look at the defense and be like, "Are you a doctor?" No. So how do you know he has bipolar disorder? How do you know he actually has PTSD? What, we're gonna take him at his word? Nah. You need to get a doctor's order, which means he probably had a public defender. You know what I mean? Or an attorney that just did not care, because that's the first thing you would do is get an evaluation. You would have the VA check him out and have him pronounced with PTSD, bipolar disorder, all that, because that could help in the sentencing. But they didn't do that, which means probably had a public defender, because public defenders, they'll make it look like they're doing their job, but if you really know, uh, if you really know what's going on and you watch them closely, you'll see how they're just throwing you under the bus. They're just rolling the dice and saying, "Well, I mean, maybe you'll get lucky, but yeah, there's the bus, homie. Get under it." Like 100%, man. Public defenders, they don't give a damn about you. They don't care. You're just another number, another caseload. They just want to get you to take a plea deal and get on out of there. They don't want to do more than a day or two's work on you, more than like an hour or two's work on you. According to court documents, Dowk, who worked at the NSA for about a month, told the undercover FBI agent that he wanted to, quote, cause change after questioning the United States' role in causing damage to the world. But he also said he was $237,000 in debt. He also allegedly said he had decided to work with Russia because his heritage ties back to your country. Yeah. So he said it wasn't motivated by money, but he was, almost $250,000 in debt, and his heritage, like I said, probably his culture probably rolls back to Russia, which it does. Jesus. Dowk was initially paid $16,499 in cryptocurrency for experts of some documents that he passed on to the agent to show what he had. And then he offered to sell the rest of the information he had for $85,000 according to the plea deal. Prosecutors say $85,000 is about what he would have earned at the NSA in a year. So then what? God, why, man? The agent directed him to go to Denver's downtown train station on September 28, 2022, and send the documents using a secure digital connection during a 4-hour window. Dowk arrived with his laptop and first used the connection to send a thank you letter that opened and closed in Russian, and in which he said he looked, quote, forward to our friendship and shared benefit, according to the plea deal. Moments after, he used his laptop to transfer all the files. FBI agents then arrested him. According to his indictment, the information Dowk sought to give Russia included a threat assessment of the military offensive capabilities of a third unarmed country. It also included a description of sensitive U.S. defense capabilities, some of which relates to that same foreign country. So basically, we're using a foreign unarmed country to store our weapons. So it looks like that country doesn't have any weapons, and it's got U.S. weapons all over it. And that's at least that's what it sounds like. That's what he was trying to send them. Speaking outside court, after although this report right here will just let Russia know, hey, we do have an unarmed country a foreign unarmed country we're using to stash a big old cache of weapons, right in your back door, homie. Speaking outside court after the hearing, FBI Special Agent in charge Mark McCulloch said he could not provide details about what the documents contained, but he said Dalk knew the risk they posed. I think we have a good idea of what they contain. Maybe not to the extent like, how many weapons or what country, but there's got to be only a few countries that aren't weaponized. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be too hard to kind of like figure out if you just started really searching. I think anyway. Quote, he knew that the disclosure of those documents was expected to cause exceptionally grave danger to the national security of the United States, said McCulloch, who was joined by U.S. Attorney for Colorado Cole Finnegan. I mean, yeah, it sounds like it was pretty. They were pretty damning secrets that really could have hurt our national security or put us at risk in a bad way. So I think 22 years. That sounds about right. I mean, at the minimum, because if he would have got that to Russia and say they would have used that as a reason to attack us, or taken out that weapons cache that we kind of have placed strategically so we can combat and defend ourselves against a foreign threat like Russia, which is really at our back door, which is right across the pond from Alaska, really not that far away as a lot of people think. Um, yeah, that might have hurt us. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think the sentence was pretty much accordingly. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know how you're doing. Hell, just leave me a comment. I miss y'all's comments. I'm lonely. I'll say it. Well, whatever. It is what it is. Anyway, if you made it till the end with me. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Um, this story wasn't as hard to read as some of the other ones I just read recently. Like, God, these cops and judges out here are doing some of the worst things I've ever read in my life. As far as what I would imagine a cop or a judge or an official to do. So, you know, nice little lighthearted national security corruption story. You know what I mean? Yay! All right, whatever. I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. I'll catch you in the next one. And as we always say, until the next time, stay healthy, stay free, and stay wild, y'all.